Hi, fine tuner friends, John here with Revivo Violins. I had just gotten a shipment of violin parts in, and some of them being titanium fine tuners, and couldn't find the weight of those to save my life anywhere. Well, I was like, well, why don't we do a video, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person out there that would like to know. So without further ado, here's some of the fine tuners I have. A couple of your regular Wittners. I do like the gold color, so all of them pretty much have gold, with the exception of this guy that I dug out of a old fine tuner bag of just old parts that I have. It was pretty much the anomaly fine tuner, just to compare it against the rest. We have what's, I assume it's pronounced M-B-E-R-G, Mberg fine tuner. Titanium, your Ulsa, U-L-S-A fine tuner. That's part titanium, part aluminum. A Hill style Wittner fine tuner, and the old one that we mentioned, and just some other tailpieces to try. Just your composite Wittner violin, composite Wittner viola violin tailpiece. We'll discuss why later. Just a regular ebony style with a Wittner fine tuner. And then the old ebony with 4 Wittner fine tuners, just to figure out how heavy that is. And that's very heavy. I feel like you could actually cause some harm with that. And then we have our handy dandy cooking scale here. So without further ado, let's just start off left to right. The old vintage style guy here. Not sure if you can see that, but we're gonna have to zoom you up here so we can see that the scale is zeroed out. And we are looking at a whopping 4.37. Let me write that down. 4.37 grams. Correctamundo. And let's see. Back to 0. And please excuse the informalities. I live in Texas and have adopted a Texas accent. Please don't think that I'm any less educated. I do have a degree, yippee yap, all that stuff, but I just talk a little different. So next is our Wittner Hill style. Back to 0. And we are looking at, wow, 3.37 grams. Good to know. Now here's where the fun begins. We're getting into, it's a titanium and aluminum fine tuner. Curious where, it's pretty light. I'm quite impressed. Wow, 2.62 grams. So let's put that here, 2.62 grams. Okay. And then with the Mberg here, which is extremely light, oh wow, who would have thought? Okay, well, son of a sailor, it just 2.75. Looks like it should be heavier. It's light, so therefore psychologically it makes me feel like it's lighter than the previous, but 2.62 with the Ulsa. Wow. Okay, so far that's our petite gal. And to the Wittner, our heavy hitters. So the gold ones, I'm curious to see, because these things are pretty weighty. And yes, almost double the weight. Wow, 5.17 grams, 0.17 G. Now I'm curious because we have the au naturel here, the uncoated Wittner. Looks like it's perhaps a chrome-ish. So let's remove our 517 gram and see if the no coating weighs just a touch less. It does, just a touch less, so 5.15 gram uncoated. Lovely. All right, so now we have, let's just give the quick synopsis. Sorry about my, as they say, chicken scratch in the South, which is a reference to poor handwriting that looks like a chicken has scratched on the ground. All right, so now is a fun part. So I used to, back in my uninformed and young days, many years ago, set up my violins with, of course, 4 fine tuners, which were 4 Wittners at the 517 grams. So if we were to set this on here, and it's a very small scale, so we're going to try to get that on there. We're looking at a whopping 31.87 grams for an ebony tailpiece set up with 4 Wittners. In comparison nowadays, what a lot of people like to do is get a Wittner with the composite, not sure if you can see that, tailpiece, and 4 fine tuners. And comparatively, we're looking at 22.13 grams, just making sure it's completely on there. 22.1213. Compared to, let's just say if you want to do a pro setup with an ebony tailpiece, single fine tuner, this is the Wittner fine tuner. So extrapolate the math here. If we subtracted 5.17 grams from this total weight and add in any of these, will give you what it would weigh. And I'm getting 20.89, just making sure that everything's on there. 20.89, yep. Correct, all right. So that's what it would weigh with, and I'm using a nylon tailgut with the exception of this oldie that has some sort of more of a natural tailgut, it looks like. Now here's the reason I have this viola tailpiece is with the Wittners, as you can see, where I'm sort of I'll use this as a pointer, that the fret, shall you say, the last place that the string touches is going to be right here, compared to here is where the fret is on the fine tuner of this one, while these, while the ends are here. So lengthwise, these are actually a little bit shorter. Now I'm finding, and thanks to a tip of a violin store owner, let me know that the 15-inch viola, 15 to 15.5-inch viola fine tuner Wittner setup is actually the same size of this. So you have the fret to the end here is almost exactly, or is exactly the same size here. So with its weight, if you have decided to go with these guys, we're looking at 23.87 versus if you did an all heavy nope, that's touching 31.8. So, and why is the difference, you know, why is all of this matter? Like, why do people even care about that? They're just strings and they're high strung, etc. And they're, you know, pointed on there. Well, the reason is I'm going to use, so if this is your violin, here's your bridge, here's the body, here's the end, and there's your strings, is the added weight, though very nominal, does compress and add extra weight to the strings, which impacts that as they vibrate up and down. So the more weight on something, the heavier it is and the more it's not gonna be free to vibrate. The lighter it is, the more vibrations and more sounds translate to and through the violin, through the endpoint here, of course through your bridge and your bridge feet, even up at the neck, which I don't think would impact as much, but I'm not a violin maker. So having a lighter weight here does impact a violin tonally a whole lot. So typically lighter is better, and that's why you see the majority of people going with a very light setup like this, add on a ultralight fine tuner, and you just may find a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more sound, a little more responsiveness from your violin. And my little slogan is every millimeter matters on a violin. Also, every gram or fraction of a gram matters on a violin when it relates to the strings. So all that said, I hope you find, we're back, nobody was hurt. Hope you find this helpful. And here's the weights, and here's the viola fine tuner box that I'm going to be using on my beginner to intermediate violins, depending on size, or of course the regular violin size too, if that one fits or if it's preferred. But anyway, there's the information, and I hope you all enjoyed. Lastly, I do want to add that the manufacturer did say that these were a bit wide looking, to where if you were going to place them on a violin, that maybe they wouldn't all fit in a row. I'm not seeing like that would impede at all. I couldn't imagine you couldn't use all four of these if you wanted to, or all four of the aluminum titanium versions. I don't see them ever bumping into each other. And the other concern was that these would be too narrow for regular strings. I can see how this Mberg may not fit if you wanted to use it on all four fine tuners. Why? Let me see if I can get you to focus here. Is how narrow that channel is, that I don't think your G string, especially with the cloth winding, would be able to fit, as you can see, compared to how wide this one is with the Ulsa. And here's a width comparison. So the Wittners, they do have two versions that you can buy depending on your supplier. One, you can do the narrow channel, which is made just for the E string. You can do a wide channel that's going to be made for your G, D, A string. The other option is, that I used to do, is just get a little screwdriver or something and just gently wedge these apart. You can do that, but you risk breaking them. It's just better to order the right size. But these are my ramblings, and again, very informal, and all this is done is just to help you / us, those that are trying to help make the music go on at a cheaper price. So feel free to check out my website if you like. It's Revivo Violins, REVIVO VIOLINS.com. Revivo Violins. Revivo is just the Italian word for revive, which is, you know, to become alive again. And that's what we like to do, is revive these old instruments for our young and our newer and our new to violin, even if you are a few years old players. So, okay, that's it. Thank you. Hope you have a good day. Play on, my friends.